I have it on my ring finger right now, but it's darling, and it's priced at only $42.
Welcome to Movie Zone. My name is Lance. How can I help you? Or are you looking for a documentary recommendation? Well, I got a really good one for you, man. It's this movie. It's called The Devil at Your Heels, and it's about Ken Carter. He's like the Canadian Evel Knievel. They call him the Mad Canadian, and it follows Ken. He's trying to make this world record Daredevil jump off, basically trying to get it off the ground. I mean, like literally. Now, he's trying, it's not like some ordinary rocket-powered car jump, though. This is an attempt to jump some heavy-ass car across a mile section of a river with a 10-story ramp. There's a lot of zeros in that bunch of stats there, but yeah, it's still a good movie. As we start, like, to preface the real story, Ken, he goes through this really overly matter-of-fact description about the dangers of his life choices, being a daredevil. He's talking about how he's like the best daredevil. Then he proceeds to attempt to jump a record number of cars, and he busts the shit out of his ankle, crashed into car number 15. Now, showman that Ken is, he directs a camera crew, and he tells his handlers to tell the audience not to leave so he can get carried out on a stretcher, and he can advertise tomorrow's jump on the PA system.
How far did I get?
You got it. Last one.
I got the last car? Okay, take me over to the microphone, please. The one I broke in Houston. But believe me, we'll be back here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. They're just going to take me in an x-ray. I don't think it's broken. I think it's badly sprained. I slammed up against the side of the transmission. But believe me, we'll be back here tomorrow night. At 8 o'clock sharp, we'll be back here tomorrow night. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This guy is insane. He's been jumping cars like 3 times a week for 20 years. That's like 400 times or something. This dude's just a tough hombre. He kind of makes old Chuck Norris look like a Betty Boop on that whole toughness scale. Now, Ken dropped his life savings on a rocket car that he wants to jump over a river in Canada and land it in the US of A. And he plans on making it alive. So 2 absurdities right there. And the dude's promoting this thing by giving an interview about how he wants the landing pad for the jump to be a bed of roses because, that seems like a pretty soft thing to crash into. Nothing like landing on a pile of thorns to make for a soft and pleasant landing, eh? Now, when he tries to raise some money, because his 30 grand life savings just ain't cutting it, the story takes to a real turn. It tells us a little more about Ken's life because he grew up in some slummy shithole in Montreal.
I cast a little bigger shadow now than I did before. Boy, does this, you talk about search memory banks. Really does it. It hasn't changed all that much, We used to play, come out and chase whatever we could chase. Rats, cats, everything. When the snow was high, we used to jump off the top of was a shed. You'd store stuff in there. And for the life of me, even then, this portion of this yard was always blocked off. We could never get up on top of this roof and play, and if you did, it was a no-no. And I guess why I used to think that maybe this is where the rich people live.
And if you really stop to think about it, the story is really just about redeeming yourself from being poor as hell and, picking yourself up by your bootstraps. You can live life like you're going to be grabbing the world by the grapes. But the first thing you're going to have to sit through is about 5 minutes of the coolest retro footage of Ken doing some training and how he learned the polywalkie, the flim-flam man, and the cattywampus. And when Ken's starting out there dressed like disco spacemen, but he knew he didn't want to, just be a guy going down Niagara Falls in a barrel. So instead, he takes it to the streets to get the word out about jumping paddy wagons and 2-bit racetracks all across the Canadian backwoods. Now, Ken's not just in it for himself, though. Mentoring the next wave of stuntmen, it's part of his job, too, and we get to meet Tom Barry.
Why psychiatrists have all sorts of theories and reasons and whatnot. They say everything from people having masculinity complexes to suicidal tendencies, and I really don't think it's any of those. There's a thrill involved, definite thrill you get out of it. It's a kind of a psychic ecstasy that comes from that shot of adrenaline you get when you're pushing yourself to the limits of mental and physical endurance. I was told a long time ago by my mother, of all people. She said, if life is boring, risk it.
doesn't have much of a track record, but he looks like the definition of a walking hard-on from 1977. He's got the hair, he got the tinted glasses, and he's got a set of chompers made to rip the lids off of soup cans. And while Ken could just make a living promoting these turds, he can't do that, man, because he couldn't bring out his Matchbox car and show it off to help pay for the super jump if he did all that stuff. Ken just keeps pushing the boulder of a dream up a hill, and he starts to solicit for some financial help. He solicits some wealthy investor agent dude to get him to help pay for it, and Ken sweet talks him into giving him some representation. And they think with the right equipment, they can get this whole ramp set up in 5 days, even though it's really at this point just a glorified pile of dirt. Watching all this pomp and circumstance and all the hot air these guys blow, you can see why it's going to take this dude 5 years to get this jump happening, because they're just blowing each other at this point. When you see the cars that they're putting together to make this jump, makes you realize, hey, come a long way in car design and material since this thing was attempted. You could probably jump a carbon fiber car a mile with a bazillion horsepower car, but we're talking about like a steel-framed late 1970s beast here. Think like a 1977 Ford LTD. You'd almost have an easier time getting a catapult to launch that thing over a river than jumping it off a ramp. But Ken, man, he's pretty, talks a big game. He signed a big deal with ABC to carry the jump because everyone wants to see who this new Evel Knievel is, and everybody likes to see a car crash, right? So they're anxious to see how their investment's going. Now, weeks before the jump, ABC actually sends Evel Knievel himself to check out the conditions, because if there's someone that knows a little bit about disasters and failure, it'd be Evel Knievel. Now, Evel and his sidekick, who just looks like a little kid wearing an oversized suit, they aren't too impressed with the site and his ramp for good reason.
West. Compensating for that on your...
We are compensating for that on the construction of the car.
How much higher is this ramp going to be?
Another 30 feet.
There's a lot of dirt to put in here.
Well, they're getting it all right out of there, Evel. Right there. They're getting it all right out of there. And according to John Aragoni, the construction manager, the man that's in charge and lives over in the trailer over there, tells me that they'll get it done in time. They will get it done in time.
Get the ramp done.
Yeah, get the ramp done in time. No
Don't
problem.
you think that this ground ought to be settled for longer than a couple of days?
Gary, look, man, I'm going to tell you, man, we've been up against it with the weather, man. The weather has been bad here.
Yeah.
They've been out here a month with this heavy equipment. I mean, and this is all they've got done because of the weather, man. You can't get out here in the rain, and they're doing the best they can, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And they're going to get it done.
Okay.
I mean, again, this thing's just a pile of dirt, and Evel tells ABC how it is. He actually does an interview.
This is maybe a Daredevil stunt that might end all Daredevil stunts.
And when Ken sees this, he blows his horn with all this ridiculous claim that he believes Evel Knievel is the second best Daredevil in the world. So I think you might be able to guess who Ken thinks the best one is.
As I said in the interviews, and I also said in my publicity and I've been saying it for years, I still believe that Evel Knievel is the second best Daredevil in the world. And I say that because I feel that I'm number one. I also feel that if you don't think in terms of win, you do not win.
Now to keep this dream going, Ken's got to test his mettle. He's going to train with a funny car driver, Lou Arrington. Arrington expects Ken to be able to drive his rocket car in he's going to just take 6 test passes on drag strip. He's going to get a top speed of 250. Now this is Lou's car, and Lou himself says, "Hey man, I've never even gone over 243 miles an hour before." And believe it or not, Ken's Daredevil, he's never even driven a car over 90 miles an hour. So this seems like this dude just wants to commit suicide. It's Ken guy. First problem Ken runs into, he doesn't have any equipment with him. He ain't got a fire suit. His helmet's off in Toronto getting fitted for communications. Lou lends him his gear, and not trying to be a dick or nothing, but Ken looks like 10 pounds of shit smushed into a 5-pound bag.
Okay, Bob.
Huh?
Oh man. Hey, it's soft. Take the suit
Got to get the suit off.
Right. Oh geez, here we go.
Get me my,
Jeans?
Now, he can
please.
barely fit into the suit, let alone the car. But he takes that test drive, and guess what?
Okay, when you're ready, bash it on the wood. Make sure it's all the way down. All right, King Carter.
Ken hits 255 miles an hour. That's like a speed record or something. That's a Canadian speed record. Now, Ken and the people he surrounds himself, man, they must really either hate that guy with a passion or they think he's the best thing since sliced bread, because they stick with him through the bitter end, encouraging him to pursue his crazy dream, even if they know he's going to end up as a greasy spot 5 feet from the end of the ramp. I mean, make no mistake, this thing is doomed from the beginning. And even when Ken hits his down times, like when he's trying to get this jump and it keeps getting pushed back, or there's weather setbacks or problems with the car, he keeps bouncing back with that Canadian optimism, even when he's in a dark hole. And that's like the enduring spirit of what this movie really captures. You know, the late 70s stuntman community's featured here with greats like Slammin' Sammy Carter. They talk about Doug Rose and Kenny Powers. And when the jump finally happens, you won't see it coming, believe me. The Devil at Your Heels, it's one of the most unintentional, funny comedies. This thing's just full of stranger than fiction plots and subplots, but it's a real examination of a real guy, and it's compelling because you just don't know what's gonna happen next. And that end, man, it's so crazy you definitely won't see it coming. So if you're interested, man, you can find The Devil at Your Heels in the documentary section under D, next to Devil and Mrs. Jones. Yeah, it's right over there in the D section.
Do you think you're crazy?
Oh, no. No. Did they go back to Columbus again? You know, when he said the world was round, they locked him up in jail when they got back.